So I recently lost my career to AI and find myself starting over at 40. I felt lost, unsure of myself, and also unknowingly, I kind of retreated into my comfort zone. Now, I've just come back from a 10-day trip to Hong Kong, and oh my God, the trip has changed me so much. It's given me a new perspective on my life. So in this video, I want to talk about 5 ways this trip has changed me, especially in the context of starting over at 40 after AI took my job. So the primary purpose of the trip was to pay respects to my father, who passed away in March this year. We had actually booked the trip back in December when he was still alive, hoping that we would get to see him and spend some time with him. Sadly, he passed away before we got there. So already, emotionally, this trip was, quite a big deal for us as a family. But what I didn't expect was how much Hong Kong itself, the city itself, would affect me. The first couple of days, I genuinely felt like my brain was melting. It was so confronting, so overwhelming, so disorientating. But at the same time, it was inspiring, motivating. It was energizing. It was all of those things at once. During my time there, I felt simultaneously lost, connected, driven, motivated, and inspired. It's all so weird. So I wanted to make this video to clarify these things for myself as well. So the first way Hong Kong changed me is that it absolutely jolted me out of my comfort zone. It forced me to re-evaluate my entire life, my career, and my relationship with ambition. As I've mentioned in some of my previous videos, I am naturally an introvert, and over the years, I've basically built my life around that. I've optimized my life for my personality and my temperament. A few years ago, we moved out of London to a suburb outside London, and honestly, I'm just so comfortable here, maybe too comfortable. I work for myself, so I don't have to interact with people all day. Most of the time, I basically live like a hermit. The suburb where I live is really family oriented, and it feels like there are mainly 2 types of people here. Young families on the one hand, and really old people. It's just so nice and cozy. Being in Hong Kong, OMG, my nervous system was pushed to the brink. It's noisy, it's intense, it's so in your face. There's so many people everywhere. At first, I felt completely lost and overwhelmed, like I couldn't breathe. The contrast between Hong Kong and my quiet little UK suburban life was just immense. But at the same time, being in that environment dragged me out of my comfort zone massively. It forced me to confront my midlife crisis differently. Specifically, it made me re-examine my relationship with ambition. Before Hong Kong, I think part of me had decided that maybe I was over this. I was over ambition. I thought all I wanted was to rebuild my income enough to survive, because honestly, that felt like the priority. I'd also got really into mindfulness and Buddhism even before the whole AI thing started, destroying my career. I was retreating into this very quiet comfort zone. I was getting more into meditation. I was protecting my inner peace at all costs. But being in Hong Kong, kind of made me question that approach. It challenged some of the assumptions I'd made about myself and about the life I want. Am I living too small? For those of you who have never been there, Hong Kong has this electrifying energy, like many other big cities, I suppose, like London, New York, Tokyo, places like that. But for some reason, it hit me especially hard this time. Maybe it was because of my current life circumstances. Maybe it was because of the quiet life I've created for myself. For context, so the last time I visited was in 2017, so 9 years ago now. Maybe one of the reasons this hit me so hard is because I'm 40 now and I'm standing at this crossroads, right? But this time the city just felt different. The contrast with my normal life was so dramatic and confronting that I just couldn't stay in my comfort zone anymore. In Hong Kong, you see signs of success and ambition everywhere. Career ambition, commercial activity like corporate success, prosperity is all around you. People move quickly, they walk so quickly, almost like frantically, and everyone just seems to move around with purpose. They seem to be, going somewhere, doing something, chasing something. It's so different from what I am used to. But then maybe at this point in my life, it was exactly what I needed. It did make me wonder if I've been living my life too small. Maybe I haven't been challenging myself enough. Maybe I do still want more. But at the same time, and this is the interesting part, seeing that very visible, version of success in Hong Kong also made me realize one thing, that my own definition of success and ambition is different from what I was seeing around me in Hong Kong. Like, I don't want to climb the corporate ladder. I don't want to earn a shit ton of money just so I can buy, designer handbags and stuff. That kind of material success has, I guess, very little appeal to me. Even the eating out culture in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong people love eating out, it doesn't really appeal to me that much. I mean, I am a foodie, but eating out constantly is not part of my dream life. So while Hong Kong reconnected me with my ambitious side, it also made me want to define ambition on my own terms. It made me ask, what does ambition actually look like for me? And I think for me, ambition means a few things. First of all, it does mean, first, rebuilding my income, because I want to be able to afford things that genuinely matter to me. One of those things is traveling abroad with my kids. We had such a valuable, enriching time in Hong Kong this time around, and I want more experiences like that for them. I want our children to see the world. They are 8 and 9, by the way. I want them to connect with their heritage. I want them to feel that the world is bigger than the little suburb we live in. Ambition to me also means having the freedom to do meaningful work and having freedom from a boss, I suppose. I'm still very committed to the freelance path for the most part. I don't really see myself getting a job just yet. I know it's not for everybody, and I'm not romanticizing the freelance life, especially after everything that's happened with AI, with my own career and stuff. But for me, that freedom still matters. And I also want to have a positive impact on people's lives in some way. I don't know exactly what that looks like yet or how I'm going to achieve that, but that is part of my ambition. So yes, I do feel stuck and lost in a way because I don't have a roadmap. But at the same time, I've never felt more motivated and driven than I do now after this trip. And in a weird way, I think it's probably a good thing. So in practical terms, I think that this experience made me realize that even living in the UK, I need to make more of an effort to get out of my comfort zone, to meet people, go to London, maybe have more interactions with you guys here on YouTube, online, on Patreon. So if you would like to be a part of that, feel free to join me on Patreon or join my new YouTube channel membership. So the second way Hong Kong has changed me is that it gave me a fascinating, alluring glimpse of life in Asia and possibly a different vision for our future. We really got a feel for life in Asia on this trip. We were in Hong Kong for 10 days and we also had a one-night stopover in Beijing. Sip of tea. And look, Asia presents such a radically different lifestyle, way of life and vibe from what we are used to here in the UK. It's also completely different from the way Asia is often, I guess, represented in the media here, which I think is a good thing for the children to experience. For me, of course, Asia isn't completely new. I was born in Shanghai and I grew up in Hong Kong until I was 17 before moving to the UK. So this world is part of my culture, my heritage, I suppose. But our children were both born here in the UK, and for them, It was so valuable to get a glimpse of how people live on the other side of the world and to reconnect with that part of their heritage. I've mentioned briefly on this channel before that my husband and I would consider relocating to a lower cost country in the future. By the way, Hong Kong is not really low cost. China still is. Look, I don't want to get too political on this channel or at all, but suffice to say, my husband and I both feel that the UK is on a declining trajectory in many ways, whereas in parts of Asia, like in Hong Kong, Beijing, you get the sense that things are moving forward. Things feel like they're booming. There's this energy, this feeling that the future is happening there. In Hong Kong, for example, my husband and I both felt that the city seemed a lot more dynamic and vibrant than it did 9 years ago when we last visited. And maybe one reason, according to my friends, is that there has been a huge influx of new expats due to global events, economy. Apparently, quite a lot of people have, for instance, moved from places like Dubai to Hong Kong, and the city has this new energy to it. Now, personally, I don't see myself living in Hong Kong as a family. Like, no way. People live in really small apartments. The city is really crowded, and worst of all, it's just so fucking hot. We love being outside, and in Hong Kong for about half the year, I just don't think you can really enjoy being outside. So no, I don't think Hong Kong is for us as a family. And oh, by the way, also the education system is so cutthroat. But for our children, I do feel quite strongly that they could possibly pursue a future in Asia after university. I'm not saying they will, they'll have to make their own choices, but I want them to know that it's an option. I want them to feel that the world is open to them. I want them to understand that their Chinese heritage, their language skills, their cultural background could really, shape their future. So getting that glimpse of life in Asia was so extremely valuable for us as a family. It really expanded our horizons massively. The third way this trip changed me is that it reinforced the importance of family for me. And it helped me recalibrate my priorities. As I said, we booked the trip when my father was still alive, hoping to see him and spend time with him. Sadly, that didn't happen, but we did get to pay our respects to him, and it was a really emotional experience for all of us. His passing also brought my siblings, our partners, and his grandchildren together. And incredibly, because we were already in Asia, my husband's father and one of his brothers came from Sydney, Australia, to join us as well. So we got to meet up with my husband's side of the family too, which was so special. It became this incredible opportunity for everyone to come together. So I got to spend time with my sister who lives in Japan, my 2 half-brothers, their partners, and even my husband's family. So it was priceless for us. It's one of those, I think, memories that will stay with all of us forever. And it reinforced to me how much that means to us, for our children to spend time with extended family, to get to know their uncles and auntie, to feel part of something bigger than just our little, nuclear family here in the UK. So that was beyond precious. On a side note, I also found it really valuable for my son, who is half Chinese and half Russian, to have Asian male role models like my brothers and my Japanese brother-in-law. I don't want to get too deep into racial identity, that kind of stuff, but I've always been aware that while my son is only 9 now, as he gets older, he may have to navigate his identity as a half Asian guy growing up in the West. And I've always felt that he needs positive male role models who look like him, or at least reflect part of his heritage, and who can present to him a different vision of masculinity, if you will. I feel like my brothers are really well placed to be those role models. My son really adores them. They are 2 young guys in their 20s, and they're honestly really cool. I'm not going to share the photos here without their permission, but you just have to take my word for it. They are really good looking. They are really confident young men. One of them is a bodybuilder and personal trainer with his own gym. The other is a junior lawyer who went to, the top law school in Hong Kong, has a really good job, and recently got engaged to a beautiful young woman. And hopefully we will attend their wedding in Hong Kong next year. And I just feel like my half brothers are such good role models for my son, and they need to spend more time together. Until our trip to Japan last year, I never really got to know my half brothers properly because I left Hong Kong when they were still toddlers. We didn't really have, not toddlers, but like very young children. We didn't really have a relationship for many years, but my sister's wedding brought us together last year, and now my father's passing has brought us together again. And I've just turned 40 this year, and I feel so grateful that in the second half of my life, I may have the chance to build a real relationship with my half siblings. There's this Chinese concept of 缘分, or Cantonese 缘分. It is this sense of fate, the mysterious reason people are brought together in life. And I keep thinking, how many people in this world do I share this kind of 缘分 with? Not that many at all. And so I'm incredibly grateful for that. Again, this reinforced how important it is for us to travel to Asia regularly, or at least, semi-regularly. I also think that instead of always trying to travel all the way to Australia to see my husband's family, actually we've never done it as a family yet, Asia could become a realistic midway point for all of us. Traveling to Australia is extremely expensive and intense. I mean, it's like a 24-hour flight. So maybe meeting in Asia again in the future could be a more realistic way for both sides of the family to connect. Maybe our children can finally meet their first cousins, their only first cousins, who live in Sydney in Asia. The fourth way Hong Kong changed me was through reconnecting with my old school friends. All of us turning 40 this year. We were all born in the same year, 86. One of my very good friends, who has been a very successful, career woman in my eyes, he's also going through a midlife crisis. She's actually the one who gave me a midlife crisis diaries journal. So thank you, my friend. I'll call you Miss J if you're watching this. Thank you. 多謝晒. And honestly, reconnecting with my old school friends reminded me that all of us have to confront our lives and our life crises in our own ways. Most of us have turned 40 this year, or are turning 40 this year, and seeing how different people have lived their lives was very interesting. Some of my friends have pursued corporate success and followed a more conventional, career path. One of my good friends has become a full-time influencer. So that's a very different path. Some of my friends have lived what might look like more ordinary lives. Maybe they haven't achieved the obvious badges of success, but they have built their own lives, started families, and that's not nothing either. So yeah, connecting with these people from my past was deeply valuable and meaningful for me, and I hope it was for them as well. And Miss J and I have also decided to embark on a joint project together as our own way of fighting our midlife crisis. I won't say too much about that yet, but I'll keep you posted on the progress of that project in due course. We're really excited about this, and it will be a great way for us to, reconnect and cheer each other on. The fifth way Hong Kong changed me is that it reinforced my desire and motivation to rebuild my life after losing so much of my career to AI. This, I think, relates to the first point that I made earlier, because this trip forced me out of my comfort zone and reconnected me with this drive and ambition within myself that has always been there, I think. All the enriching experiences we had as a family made me realize that I want more of this. I want more experiences like this for myself, my husband, and especially my children. And that motivates me to rebuild my career and my income, because the reality is that we need money to do these things. We need money to travel abroad as a family. We need money to go to Asia. A lot of money to go to Asia to see family, to give our children these experiences. Maybe not every year, but hopefully every 2 years, but every year would be even better. So I need to build the income to make that possible, and that means I need to rebuild. Whether we call it a career, an income stream, a portfolio life, I don't know. Actually, I think the word career itself is something that perhaps we need to redefine as a society. Actually, I've had conversations about this with several people recently, including my friends in Hong Kong, and I think that could be a video idea for the future. But for now, I don't know exactly what my career or income streams will look like. I don't know what shape it will take just yet. I just don't have a clear roadmap yet, but I feel this renewed drive to succeed, whatever success means. Maybe it's okay to sit with uncertainty for a while. It's maybe okay to feel my way through it. What I do know is that I feel more motivated and driven than ever before at the age of 40. So yes, I think that can only be a good thing right now. So guys, have you ever had a trip like this? One that fundamentally challenged your life perspective, your worldview, or the direction you thought you were heading in? Share your experience in the comments below. I would really love to hear it. And before I go, I also want to say that this channel recently hit 7,000 subscribers. So thank you. Thank you so much to all of you for supporting me on this journey. I'm honestly so grateful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.